Welcome to part 2 of our amp watt generator load test and balance meter. Today we're going to be wiring up and installing the switch and the meter. Let's get into it. I'm going to want to go ahead and put me up together some wires, but now on my switch I determined that the two poles here, this one and this one, are for line 1. And we're going to set line 1 up to be black. Now down here, these two poles are line 2. So we're going to set line 2 up on our red circuit. That way everything is going to be properly color coded. So we'll start working on the line 2, and then we're going to go ahead also with the line 2. We are going to go ahead and we'll put fittings on for our switch. A little bit of shrink wrap there, so we can have nice clean connections. And for our line 2, because the output of the switch is going to go straight to the meter, so we're going to run a jumper wire from line 1 to line 2 straight to our meter. And in doing so, we'll only have to have one wire coming from the meter. So we'll go ahead and put these little fittings on. We'll go ahead, W crimp them and shrink wrap them. I prefer W crimp. It's just a much cleaner, much cleaner setup, and I prefer things to be nice and clean. So we'll go ahead and do us a nice W crimp on the fitting, and we're putting 2 wires in because this one is also going to be our jumper wire. So we want a nice clean W crimp on there. You can see nice clean, good looking crimp. Got a little excess wire here, which I will go ahead and snip that off. There, that way it doesn't get in the way of our fitting when we go to try and install it. And we will go ahead and shrink that up, and these will be cut to fit as needed. And we have a nice clean fitting there. And this one is going to go to line 1 on meter, and it's going to go to it'll go to line 1 on the meter, as well as it'll jump to line 1 on the switch, and it'll be originally connected to line 1 in the switch as well. We're going to jump it between the two. That way when we switch to line 1 or line 2, the output will come to this one wire that's going to go to our meter. And now that I've got that in place, I want to put this in place and determine if these wires are going to need to be bent in any way, or if this connector needs to be bent. And it's looking like it is going to a small degree. So we'll go ahead, turn it towards the switch, and then this one will just loop back around. And we could get a nice clean fitting. Once we get all of these wires on the switch, we're going to go ahead and we'll go ahead and install the switch into the cover. So we'll go ahead, we'll cut this right around there. We don't want a lot of extra wire. We'll shave off a small portion of the insulation and we'll put the next fitting on. That should be all that we need. Wire strip pliers come in handy. And we'll insert another fitting into it, onto it. Then we'll position it. And put a piece of shrink wrap on it. So we'll put the shrink wrap on first, because the smaller shrink wrap will not go over the fitting. And we'll double crimp this to get a nice tight fitting. So we'll go into one set first, and you can see it's still doing a fair share of flopping around. It's not completely tight. Then we'll go ahead and run it through a tighter one so the fitting is nice and tight on the wire. We don't want a loose connection. Now with this switch, it is a high voltage switch, but because we're not drawing high voltage, we can get away with the smaller wire. So I chose to go with 120 volt, 240 volt, 14 gauge. It's heavy enough to handle, more than handle the load we're going to be putting on it, but light enough to be easily worked as well. And we'll shrink wrap that fitting on there. And we will go ahead and insert this into the leg one. And because we're already into the one leg, this is going to be a little challenging to get it in there because we don't want a lot of extra wire. But not too difficult. And we'll insert that. So now when we switch from line 1 to line 2 on this switch, when we switch it to line 1, it's going to feed this, jump through, go send the signal to our meter. Line 1 will power here, come through, jump through, go to our meter. Now when we flip over to line 2, it's going to power into this circuit, jump over on the bottom side, and go to our meter. So either way, it's going to go to our meter. And our meter is going to be fairly close, so we're not going to need a lot of wire. Our meter is going to sit approximately there. So this should be about all the wire we're going to need to go to our meter. And we're going to line 1 on the meter. So that's going to be fairly close. So we'll go ahead, cut that now. And that's going to do it for that portion. And then that'll plug in. So now what we're going to want to do, we're going to go ahead and install our common into the meter. And the common is the same common for both lines 1 and line 2. So we'll put our common wire in. Once we put the meter into the box, we're not going to be able to get to these legs to tie this off. So there's our common wire on the meter. We've got that all set up. We're in good shape there. And then we got our current transformer, our external current transformer. And then we'll go ahead and set up, determine our wire length. If our switch is going to be there, and line 1 is going to be black, so this is going to run there, we need to make sure the wire is long enough to go anywhere around the plug. Now is a great time to ask you to like and subscribe to our channel. If you have any questions regarding your build, please feel to ask. We'd greatly appreciate it. So we'll go ahead and continue our wiring on the switch. You have to excuse me for stepping aside. I'm not trying to let my garbage fly all over. And we'll go ahead, put the connector on there as well. And we'll do the same thing as the last one. Only this time, because the wire's open, we don't need to put the shrink wrap on it in advance. And as before, the fitting's a little loose on the wire. So we'll go ahead and tighten it down another size. We have to do it the first time, otherwise if we go to the smaller setting will crush the fitting before forming the W crimp on it. And you can see when I do the second fitting, it overlays the one over to the other in the tighter adjustment. But it's nice and tight. We'll go ahead, shrink wrap that. Then we'll make the line 2 wire for it. Well, we'll do the line 1 and the line 2 at the same time. We'll go ahead and cut us another wire for the line 2. Get it set up. We'll shrink wrap the both back to back. Then we'll be able to go ahead and install our switch into our box plate, which is basically the top of the box. And like the other one, we'll double crimp it, drop down to the smaller size, make sure we're nice and tight. We don't want any loose fittings. Loose fittings in electrical will cause excessive heat due to poor connection. You want to have solid continuity, or you can create additional heat in a system, and heat in electrical is not good. The cooler the better, the tighter the better. So we'll go ahead, shrink wrap both of those, get them installed on our switch. Then our switch is ready to install in the box. There's our line 2 wire, and we know it's going to need to bend out. Then we'll go ahead and install our line 1 wire in. Now these will also go to the same corresponding color codes with our power cable at the plug. And they're not there to draft any heavy draw. We don't need draw, we just need signal, which does not require a lot of amps. So before we go ahead and install this, we're going to position the switch with our meter and connect the wire into the switch. That way we can be nice, clean, and like I said before, because these are up top here like this, once we put the switch on, we can't get to those screws to install the wires. So they have to be pre-installed before we put our meter into the box. Make sure those are nice and tight. It's always wise to go ahead and double check all of your electrical fittings before you assemble, just to be sure everything's nice and secure. There's our assembly. We've got our wires all in place. We've got our common in place. We'll slide it over our meter. Get our meter on it. Slides in. That's a nice good fit. And then we'll go ahead and we'll position our switch. Look at our wire. The wire could have been a little shorter, but it'll work. So now we'll go ahead, put our overlay plate on, and we'll start putting the screws into our switch. And it's always good to get all of your screws in before you tighten everything down. And that's our 4th screw. And it'll be nice, tight, compact, and we'll be able to check both power legs coming out of any device we connect it to, connect it between. This is being designed to load test generators, mainly inverter generators. Inverter generators, the inverters are designed, there are 2 inverters built into one, each powering a single 120 circuit. And they combine the 2 120 circuits together to make 240 volts. And with this meter system, I'll be able to check both of them simultaneously. I could check one, then the other. Okay, we got our switch in place. We'll go ahead and snap the cover back in. There's our switch cover. We'll put our switch on. Screw it in. Then we need to go ahead and install the plug. And there we have it. We have our 1 circuit transformer. The other one is built in, so the power wire will go through here. So we'll probably run it. We'll come up through here. We'll run it in between there, over, through, out, and to our plug. We have our common, our line 2 wire, which goes to the plug, and then our line 1 wire. And we'll go ahead and start working on installing the plug. We will have to drill some holes for the mounting of the plug, but I didn't want to drill those until after I had the plug, so I know exactly where they need to go. And we'll take it from there.